The story of Gideon, found in Judges 68, is one of courage, faith, and God's divine intervention. Gideon, a man from the tribe of Manasseh, was called by God to deliver Israel from the oppressive rule of the Midianites. For 7 long years, the Israelites lived in fear. The Midianites had overrun their land, destroying crops, stealing livestock, and leaving God's people in despair. But in their darkest hour, God raised an unlikely hero, Gideon. He instructed Gideon to destroy his father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Gideon obeyed, but out of fear, he did it at night. The next day, the townspeople demanded his execution, but his father Joash defended him, saying that if Baal were a real god, he could defend himself. The Midianites and their allies camped in the valley of Jezreel. Gideon called men from Israel to join him, and 32,000 answered the call. However, God told Gideon the army was too large. He did not want Israel to believe they had won by their own strength. First reduction. Gideon was instructed to send home anyone who was afraid. 22,000 left, leaving 10,000. Second reduction. God told Gideon to take the men to the water. Only those who lapped water with their hands like dogs, 300 men were chosen. The rest were sent home. That night, God reassured Gideon by telling him to spy on the Midianite camp. Gideon overheard a Midianite soldier recounting a dream interpreted as a sign of Gideon's victory. Encouraged, Gideon worshiped God and returned to prepare his men.
Gideon divided his 300 men into 3 groups. Each soldier carried a trumpet, an empty jar, and a torch. They approached the Midianite camp at night. On Gideon's signal, the men blew their trumpets, smashed their jars to reveal the torches, and shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon."
The sudden noise, lights, and shouting caused chaos in the Midianite camp. The Midianites turned on each other in confusion and fled. Gideon's forces pursued them, and with reinforcements from other tribes, they defeated the Midianite army completely.
After the victory, the Israelites wanted to make Gideon their king, but he refused, saying that God was their ruler. However, he made an ephod from the spoils of war, which later became a snare for the people when they began to worship it. Gideon was also Israel for 40 years, bringing peace to the land. After his death, the Israelites returned to worshiping idols, forgetting the God who had saved them.